Okay? And then the fourth proposition, love wills the neighbor's good whether we like him or not. And I think you legalists are probably going to like, at least you Christians, the way that I understand what you got, the way you guys think. You're going to like this, I do believe. Christian love is the business of loving the unlovable, i.e. the unlikable. The radical obligation of the Christian ethic is to love not only the stranger neighbor and the acquaintance neighbor, but even the enemy neighbor, just as we love the friend neighbor. That's good Christian doctrine, isn't it? Right? There's three kinds of ethics. There's the egoistic ethic, which says, my first and last consideration is myself. Then there's the mutualistic ethic. I will give as long as I receive. And then the altruistic ethic. I will give requiring nothing in return. Now, which one is agape? The last one. That's right. That's the kind of love that we need to have. That's the kind of ethic we need to have. Giving, expecting nothing in return. And then there's this idea of the ladder of love.
Could you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
This ladder of love. Let me draw you this ladder here. There's this ladder of love that Fletcher likes to talk about, and therefore I like to talk about. First, you'll love yourself, love ourselves for ourselves' sake, our own sake. Okay, that's the first rung on the ladder. And then, love of neighbor for my own sake. Okay, for our own sake. And then, love of neighbor for the neighbor's sake. And then the highest rung is love of self again, but now for the neighbor's sake. Okay? Does that make sense?
Trying to wrap my brain around it.
It's a higher form of love to love myself for someone else's sake. No.
Translates into.
Okay. Some examples here. At least one example. Have you ever been on an airplane and you are told, in case of an emergency, the oxygen mask will drop down, right? And what are you told? To put it on yourself first and then help the kids next to you. Or help someone else who's having trouble. You put it on yourself first. Okay, you have to take care of your own needs first in order to help others. Right? You don't neglect your own needs in order to help someone else. Okay?
Is that based on love, or that's just based on your response for danger? Yes.
Well, back to...
Even if I hated myself, and a situation came where, I hate myself, but I still want to live. So is that based in love? Just trying to think through.
I don't know. Remember our discussion of making yourself happy in the Lord at the beginning of the day. Why? Is that selfish? No, the reason you do that is so that you can be a blessing to others. Because if you don't have the right attitude, then then you're not going to be a very good blessing to others. You can do it in the wrong spirit. And so you need to take care of yourself first. Meet your needs first. You guys are in Bible school right now. Why? You're loving yourself for your neighbor's sake because you plan to do great things for God with this education. You want to be a blessing to others. So you're educating yourself. You're loving yourself for the neighbor's sake. Right? Megan?
Even in a marriage relationship, the spouse doesn't just completely forget about their own needs to focus on their, like a wife's, for her husband, because I don't think a husband would appreciate her not taking care of herself.
That's right.
He wants his wife to be attracted to him, and if she just, forgets all sense of, hygiene and whatnot, then I don't think that.
Growl every night.
Yeah, I don't think he would appreciate that.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. My wife tends to be pretty self-sacrificial, and sometimes she'll not get enough sleep. I'm saying, you need to take care of yourself. Get your sleep. You got to take care of yourself first if you're going to be a blessing to others. So that I think this is good. Even as a real Christian, I think this is good. Actually, what
I have a reason to
what
love
Joseph Fletcher does here, he actually steals this from Bernard of Clairvaux, who has this ladder. First, it's love of self for self's sake. Then it's love of God, yet for self's sake. Then there's love of God for God's sake, and then there's love of self once more, but this time for God's sake and not one's own. That's Bernard. So, well, what do you do when self-love and neighbor love conflict? What do you do? Do you always deny self-love? Fletcher says, the logic of love is that self-concern is obligated to cancel neighbor good whenever more neighbor good will be served through serving the self. Sometimes I need to serve myself in order to have a greater impact, do a greater good for others. If we love ourselves for our own sake, that is wrong. But if we love ourselves for God's sake and the neighbor's sake, then self-love is good.
Well, I was just thinking, like, someone who has been put in a situation where, someone is drowning and instinct kicks in and you want to go save that person, but if you stopped and thought about it, you might not, because then, well, for the greater good of your family, you wouldn't risk your life for that one person. So, if you probably thought through, the best thing for the greater amount of people would be to not jump in because, my family needs me, whatever. But that person sacrifices their own life to help that one person who is drowning.
Okay. Well, we'll get into some examples here of that. You have this ladder. Okay. Self-love may be right or wrong love depending on the good, soft situation. So you bring up an interesting situation. Well, let's bring up some other situations. The idea is that love calculates. Calculation is not cruel. So sometimes you have to make decisions. Sometimes it's a decision between love for self and love for the neighbor. Sometimes it's choosing between neighbors. What about this situation? There's a burning building. There's a little baby in the burning building. And there's actually also Da Vinci's Mona Lisa, the artwork, painting, the original. Which do you say? Do you save the Mona Lisa or do you save the little baby? How many of you save the baby? How many of you say Mona Lisa? How many of you think that I'm going to say Mona Lisa as a situation ethicist? Two? Well, actually, no. You forgot what I told you earlier. And that is, one of the presuppositions of situation ethics is personalism. We love people, not things. Okay? We put people above things, even if it's a most famous piece of art. Okay? Now, what if the choice is between your own father, assuming he's still alive, and a medical genius who has discovered a cure for cancer? He has the formula, he's a genius.
Why come up with this?
This is bad.
Which do you choose?
Can I change it to my uncle?
You're we might get rid of him anyway. If you understand agape, you carry out the genius. Because he's going to help more people than your dad probably is.
That's a
That's what I was going to say. That if you have a Mona Lisa thing and you're thinking about world missions,
You could.
Chris,
Yeah,
like,
you're not
good.
gonna-
Get this thing, sell it, save the world.
Yeah, we probably won't be able to sell it. Now, if your dad was a missionary and the medical genius was, was not a Christian at all, you might want to choose your dad, right? You can save more people and get them to heaven.
Oh, but then what if your dad was saved and the other guy wasn't? Then you're faced with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you let your dad go to heaven. And, yeah. Okay, well. It is right to deal lovingly with the enemy unless to do so hurts too many friends. See? You got to be calculating about this. All right.